You went quiet, not because you had nothing to say, because none of it felt safe to let out. You told yourself it was strength, taking the high road, not stooping to their level. But the silent treatment isn't control. Reach for it, and you're showing the exact moment your control ran out. We have nice words for it. Being the bigger person, keeping your peace, not feeding the drama. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes silence really is a boundary. But there's another silence, and you know the difference in your body. It's the one where you're not calm. You're rigid. Your jaw is tight. You've rehearsed 6 sentences and swallowed all of them. That silence isn't peace. It's a war you're losing on the inside with the sound off. Why does your mouth close exactly when you most need it open? Start there. You didn't decide to go quiet. Your body decided for you. When a conversation turns into a threat, not a knife, just a threat of being unheard, dismissed, made small, your nervous system does the math faster than you can. Heart rate climbs. Push past 100 beats a minute, and the part of your brain that finds words starts to drop out. Psychologists call it flooding. Flooded, you can't be reasonable. You can barely be verbal. So the body picks the oldest safe option it has. Stop. Freeze. Go silent and wait for the danger to pass. That's your nervous system doing its job. The problem is what it mistakes for danger. It isn't a predator. It's a person who loves you. And the freeze that would save you from a bear is quietly ending the thing you're trying to protect. Now feel the other side of it. What lands on the person you go quiet on? Because being on the receiving end of silence isn't nothing. It's one of the most specific pains we have. Researchers have a game. You toss a ball back and forth with 2 other players on a screen. Then, without a word, the other 2 just stop throwing it to you. You're still there. Nobody said anything cruel. They simply act like you're not there. People hate it, measurably. The brain lights up in a region tied to physical pain. The same alarm that fires when you burn your hand fires when you're left out. Your brain files being ignored under the same warning as being hurt. So when you go silent to punish someone, understand what you're actually doing. You're pressing on a bruise the body reads as an injury, and you're doing it on purpose. Which raises the real question. If it hurts that much, if some part of you knows it hurts, why is it so easy to reach for? Because at some point, talking stopped working. Think back. There's a version of you that said the hard thing out loud. That explained and asked and tried to be understood. And it went nowhere. You were talked over, corrected, told you were too sensitive, too much, wrong for feeling it. So you learned. You learned that your words don't move this person, but your absence does. That the one thing they actually react to is you going cold. Silence became the only lever left that still pulls. That's the quiet tragedy of it. The silent treatment isn't the first move. It's the last one. What's left after you've given up on being heard the normal way. And here's what makes it stick. It works. In the short term, it works beautifully. They come to you. They soften. They ask what's wrong. They apologize. They try harder because your silence scared them. You got the result. The behavior got rewarded. And anything that gets rewarded gets repeated. So it becomes a language. Not a slip, a system. Something's wrong. You go quiet. They scramble. It resolves. Over and over. Until silence is just how conflict works between you. But every time you run it, you teach the other person something you didn't mean to teach. You teach them that reaching you costs them, that getting through requires panic. And a person can only pay that price so many times before their body does its own math and decide you're not safe to reach for either. That's the line almost nobody crosses in their head. You think the danger is the fight. It isn't. A fight means 2 people still believe it's worth the noise. The danger is the day the silence stops working, the day you go cold, and they don't come. They don't ask what's wrong. They don't chase. Because they finally learned the lesson you spent all those silences teaching them. That trying to reach you doesn't work. That you're quiet doesn't mean come closer. It means you don't matter enough for me to use words. You wanted to win the argument without saying a thing. And you can. Silence will win you almost every single fight. It will just very slowly cost you the person you were fighting to keep. I've reached for this silence too. It wins the room every time. It just very quietly empties the chair on the other side of it. So the next time your mouth closes and the 6 sentences pile up behind your teeth, notice which silence it is. The one that's a boundary, or the one that's a nervous system that gave up on being heard, quietly teaching someone to give up on you. Thanks for staying. If you want more of the uncomfortable part, subscribe. What your mind is really doing in the dark.